Computer. Okay, so we are recording, and let me do that. So welcome to week 3 of 6 Weeks to Success. So we're almost halfway through. After we finish this, we'll be halfway through. Yay!
Yay!
Yourselves a hand.
Yay!
I'm going to share my screen, and then we'll start going through the slides. Share screen. You would think I would know this better by now. Desktop. Share screen. Okay, so let me close that. There we go. Okay, so week number 3. So excited for y'all. I know I saw Kendra and Debbie, and then Cheryl, I hadn't seen it, but Cheryl had submitted her Google form. So kudos to all of y'all for submitting. Kendra's coming into town, so she can't be on the call. She's been out of town. She messaged me earlier. But thank you for submitting your Google form homework. It's always exciting. So let's talk a little bit about what you have learned so far. So week 1, we talked about product knowledge, so you can maximize your sales and bookings. And we also talked about belief, how that decides that you believe you can and cannot do, and that your brain can be retrained. And we talked last week about how to talk to people out and about, how to book parties at your shows, and words to say at both. And also that your passion shines through and can completely influence purchases and bookings at parties. So what I would like to do, those of you that have listened to the, was it Susan Warshay? I'm not looking at I think it was Susan Warshay and anyway, the call. What were some of your takeaways from that? Last week I shared. This week I'm not talking. I'm letting y'all talk.
Goodness, I slept since yesterday.
One of the things I got from it was like before your month starts, set a number of shows, how many you want to have that month, and then go for the gusto. And you don't quit until you have all your bookings, and then even after your bookings, just keep calling.
Okay, and that is a fantastic tip, because you know what? Even if they don't book, even if you already filled your month, that doesn't mean you can't book for next month.
Mm-hmm.
You don't want to stop booking just because this month is done, because you know what? Next month they'll be here when you just turn around and it'll be here. So why not keep on booking? So good tip. What else did y'all pick up?
Well, I found my notes so one of the things they said was 60% of customers will say no 4 times before saying yes.
Mm-hmm. Yep. There's a lot of, you probably all experienced that, whether it's they've been to 3 or 4 shows, they've said no every time, and then they come to another show and they finally say, you know what, I think I do want to do this. It happens. So asking is important. Anything else that y'all picked up from that?
You got to know who you're going to call. You just can't go off the wall. Like, have your list set, and then also what you're going to say. So if they're past hosts, what you're going to say to your past hosts. If they're, a guest from a previous show, know what you're going to say, so you're not hemming and hawing.
Mm-hmm. Write out a script. And you know what? They don't know that you're saying the same thing to everybody. And having a script, just like Shelly gave us the words a couple days ago, yesterday, the day before, was something that we can text. Do the same thing for what, like Cheryl said, your past host, this. So really kind of think about that. And the more you do it, the more comfortable you get. And then you can change it up after a while. So I've been doing this one for a while. Let me change it up a little bit. Or the specials are different. You can change that up too. Anything else from the last couple of weeks you want to comment on before we move on to host coaching?
Let's see.
Oh, my note. Because I couldn't be there with you guys, it's not necessarily on the call, but I did learn something from Gail the other day. Because she's like, if you're giving 2 dates, don't give one at the beginning and then one at the end. Do it week by week, so you're filling your weeks.
Okay, so you're not looking at a month, you're looking at a week at a time.
Right. She said that she starts at her first week, she has these dates set up. She goes, those are the first ones. She goes, and then if they can't do it, move a week on. But if you give one, like say the beginning of the month and then one at the end of the month, what happens 9 times out of 10 is the person at the end of the month either forgets or they cancel, and then you're up the creek without a paddle.
Or they choose that later month whenever you could have booked them in closer if you would have offered that. So yeah.
Yes.
Definitely. That's a good tip. Thank you, Gail. Gail is her hospitality director that she goes to meetings. So, okay, so
Yeah, because I have always done I just pick 2 dates, and it's like, oh, well, this, and then it's always the later ones, and then I always have to close after the next month, beginning of the month, because I'm military, and yeah.
Mm-hmm. Very good tips.
I like the tips on going to the grocery store, wearing your Pampered Chef T-shirt, your water bottle, your clear bag, taking your recipe card. And then I thought it was kind of funny. We should make sure that we smell good and that we wear nice clothes to parties, and
you want to
that we act like we're having fun.
That is so true, Diane, because they're watching what we do. So you wouldn't want to go to a cooking show when somebody had really bad body odor or they had a very dirty apron. You wouldn't have anybody come back. So good tips. Okay.
And so the lady said also, she just had an outfit, her uniform, so to speak, that she always wore. It was the same thing all the time, so that way she didn't have to worry about it. And it was a pair of khaki pants or apron and a shirt. I think it was a polo or a button down that had the PC stuff on it, and that's all she wore.
Mm-hmm.
And that made it simple, made her look professional. She didn't have to overthink anything.
That's right. Good tips. I love how y'all are taking notes and listening to all that. That is just awesome. So we have shows now, so we need a host coach, right? When you host coach, you're really working smarter, not harder, because host coaching is where you earn the paycheck. And I know we've talked about this before, and it's at the show where you pick up the paycheck. So if you don't host coach, then when you get to that show and there's one person there and the sales don't qualify, and then and you're like, oh, I should have coached my host better. You're thinking, oh, I need to work on that. So we're going to talk about host coaching today. And a lot of this, some of the stuff that you're going to see, Jennifer Courtney, who did the coffee talk last weekend, put together the 6 weeks to success. So some of the stuff is hers. I've kind of pulled up a couple of my things I'm going to implement that I've gotten from her as well. Just so you know, and virtual, same thing. You have to host coach, whether it's a catalog show, a virtual show, a cooking show. It does not matter. Because if you just put 5 people out on a basketball court and said, go play basketball, and they had never been coached, that would be a nightmare, would it not? They wouldn't know. They'd look at that ball like, what am I supposed to do? So coaching is where they learn what to do so that they can have a successful game. Coaching our host is where they learn what to do so they can have a successful show. So how do y'all feel about your own host coaching?
I'm uncomfortable.
Uncomfortable? Okay, how come?
I told you earlier this week, I've hit a brick wall. I don't know what I'm doing wrong.
So, okay, so we're going to talk a little bit about that tonight.
Yeah, and because that's just like the party that's going on now.
I'm sorry.
Oh, okay, that was me for a second. The thing is, I coached her. I've talked to her on the phone 3 separate times. And then and I was also coaching her through messaging as the party got started, telling her, okay, you're doing a great job, keep it up, because she was pulling people in and engaging in it. And then all of a sudden yesterday, she went radio silent on me. Finally, caught her online. Mm-hmm. And she said, I'm so sorry, people aren't really into it. They're out of town and it's not going the way I hoped. And so I'm still trying to get her to say, please just, why don't you post what you want from this party? Because, I know what she wants, but I want her to say it. And she hasn't done it. So I've been jumping in and talking to people, and I'm trying to get active, but I'm going, right now we're way under $100 already.
Okay. Well, just keep reaching out, and honestly, you can do everything right, and a host still not do well. But you will feel better about it if you know you did your part, right, the way you should. So it happens. It happens to me. I'm sure it's happened to Shelley. I'm sure it's happened to many of us. So we need to know that we did the best possible job for our host possible. Okay. So sometimes it just doesn't work, but more times than not, it does. So everything starts at the party. Whenever you're doing a cooking show, you have a line of people Do you feel like you have to rush? Because you're like, oh gosh, they're waiting on me to get their orders done and this. Take your time. Focus on each person individually as they come through. That was really hard for me at first, but I've learned that that is the perfect time to be able to start your host coaching and to focus on them and start building that relationship. Always, always take host packets with you to a show. Give them 3 catalogs, 1 for themselves so they can mark up everything they want, and 2 for their guests to share to people that they can't come to the show or people that they're out and about seeing. I'll show you the fridge reminder sheet here next. I have one. I took it from Jennifer's. I modified it a little bit that I put in their host packet. And I love this kind of thought. And Carol's kind of goes along with the invite 50, and then you're going to have in her whole host coaching script. So tell them that 40 invited means 20 say yes, but only 15 will show up. Because you know, oh, I've got 15 coming. Yeah, right. 10 will show up. So the people that aren't coming get 10 outside orders from those other 25 of the 40. And you're going to get a $1,000 show. I don't know whose phone is making woo sound. Am I the only one hearing that?
No, I hear it. We're hearing chimies.
I'm going to mute.
Well, my computer's doing it also.
Okay. So anyway, so if you're host coaching or you're booking shows virtually, then you're having that conversation with them over Messenger or via text or on the phone. So the fridge reminder sheet is this, and I'll pull mine up next. I've got it down at the bottom. It's very similar. It's something that you can put in the host packet, and I don't have a virtual one, but you could create one very easily for virtual. Kind of what we just talked about. 40 invited means 20 say yes, 15 show up, get 10 orders, and then you can have your $1,000 show. Have the host create her account. That's the first thing you want her to do. That way she knows when somebody doesn't order online, she can log in and see where her sales are. Have her put your information in her phone so that you can reach her, and then she has your information, she can reach you. She talks about a red stamp picture invitation. You can also create your own in Canva. Now that the home office has the mobile friendly, the what?
The party packs.
The mobile friendly shareable invite. When you pull it up, it's got where the number of the date is, and it's got that little share with the arrow. You can send her that and tell her, say, click on that share, and then you can share your invitation. It invites everybody to your show. So use the use the technology Pampered Chef is providing for us, because Red Stamp is no longer a company. Although I will tell you this, if you kept Red Stamp on your phone, things that you had saved, you can edit and resend. Just FYI.
I'm sorry. The show went up. It's over 100 now.
Oh.
I'm sorry.
Good email.
We love, you've got an order, and an order has been added to the show. That's the best email ever.
Yeah. So I was just like going, so I can message her later, make her so she'll feel better. Okay.
So we have if you're doing a cooking show, you can create a Facebook group or event as an additional way for the host to invite. So this is kind of a checklist. She has her host create the event. I prefer to create the event or group myself. So these are just Jennifer's ways. She talks about collecting outside orders, shopping for ingredients, posting a show reminder, doing reminder calls. She has them email the information with, what recipe, the final head count, directions, and everything like that. And then you just have when it's scheduled, when you'll get there, when they need to collect and submit their orders by, and when they need to close by. And then she has a cute little note, if I can speak completely from the heart, your name is being celebrated in my house, as your party is actually qualifying me for my next incentive trip to Riviera Maya, as well as helping me continue to be a stay-at-home mom. Just ask. I'll help you however I can to have your $1,000 show. And then she gives her information. So that is her. This one is mine. I took basically the same thing but I have them email me their guest list of 40 plus so I can mail them a mini catalog. And then I give them a tip that means they're going to have a higher show because they're going to have higher attendance. I tell them to accept their Facebook event invitation instead of create the Facebook. So you can take this and make it what works for you. The thing is just having something to kind of help keep your host on track. So I'll post that in our event so that you'll be able to see them closely. So it's just it's a little checklist. You know, everybody likes a checklist. Have I done this? Have I done this? But that's not the only thing you need to do. You need to communicate. I'm going to tell you a story about a show I did right after I started doing Pampered Chef. I think it was House of Lloyd or Christmas Around the World or one of those things, because I love Christmas and it was all their Christmas stuff. And I wanted a lot of stuff, but I didn't have a lot of money. So I had a show. I booked the show at somebody's show. And I had 15 or 20 people coming because I was so excited. I was like, oh my gosh, you got to come see the stuff and everything you want your host to be. And plus I knew from Pampered Chef what I should be doing. The day before the show, I called her. I said, are you still coming? Because she has not called me. She had not sent me anything. She had not. And I was like, I've got all these people. Well, yeah, I'm going to be there. I'm like, I was just making sure because I hadn't heard from you. So, you know, she's lucky that I did what I did. Because most people, when you don't communicate, would just said, oh, forget it. She's not touched. She forgot about it. She's not doing this. So communication is so important. So I always keep that in mind whenever I'm trying to host coach, that I don't want to be that consultant, the one that doesn't communicate, the one that doesn't keep her host excited, the one that she's wondering, well, is she still going to come? You don't want to be that consultant. So your job, like I said, is coaching. And the biggest complaint of hosts is that they don't know what to do next. That's the checklist. Having a good host coaching system is the difference between a mediocre show and a fantastic show. When you give them clear and concise directions to follow the entire party is the key to $1,000 shows. And that's working smarter, not harder. Wouldn't you rather go to a $1,000 show than a $300 party? You'll make $60 at one and $220. Which one would you rather do? 300? The show's a show, right?
No, the bigger party.
Okay. Just making sure y'all are still awake.
I had to take myself off mute.
So, this is kind of a fun little thing. So tell me, if I blindfolded you, could you make a free throw or a basket from the foul line? What do you think?
No.
No? Be kind of hard, wouldn't it? Because what if you weren't facing the right direction? Or what if you thinking, oh, it's so far away, so you threw it really, or maybe you thought it was higher than it is or lower than it is. You throw it too high, you throw it too low, but you can't see what happens because you're blindfolded, right? And I have to tell you, this is from Jennifer, so I think it's kind of funny. Now, Shaq could probably do it. Now, that's kind of a laugh because they used to do Hack-a-Shaq because he was terrible at free throws, but obviously she didn't know that when she did this. So I would have put somebody like Dirk Nowitzki or something like that. But the point is, a professional basketball player, they practice free throws. They do them all the time. It becomes something, it's a natural motion for them. They could probably do it blindfolded. And they may even practice with it blindfolded. Who knows? But that's, do you think you could do it though? No.
No.
The likelihood of it happening where you make the basket is probably small, especially if you're blindfolded. So now imagine Shaq takes the ball out of your blindfolded hands, takes it to the hoop, and puts it in. What is the likelihood of you making it now? He does it, right? He's the pro. He's the expert. So he practiced and practiced. The goal is only 10 feet, but he's using the talents that he's practiced and practiced to make that. So that's what I'm going to have you do. Take the ball from your host hands and help her slam dunk the show. Help her have the best show possible by host coaching. So here is your must-do host coaching list. Contact your host weekly. I like to try and touch base with them once a week. You can email them. She emails every Monday. I don't email. I email at the beginning and then sometimes in the middle. I talk about their fridge sheet, post in their Facebook parties. Use Post My Party or Send Share if you're doing a group. You can post when you're sitting in a car, whenever you're traveling, when you're sitting in the carpool line, when at school. Get to know your host. Get to be friends with them. When they like you, they don't cancel as easily because you become their friend. She makes them a red stamp or Canva invitation. I do one at the beginning, a save the date. And then I also send them the link so they can do it that way. And then you can do a let's eat or reminder that they can use a week before the show. Explain the 40-20-15-10 rule. Make sure you're doing good demo recipes. If you're doing only a recipe in the brownie pan, your sales are not going to be very high. How come?
Because it's all they're going to see.
Mm-hmm. And how much is the brownie pan?
21.
$21. So if they want it, will they book a show to get it, or will they just buy it?
They'll just buy it.
I'll just buy it.
Yeah. So when you're picking your show recipes, always, always, always have a power tool. Whether it's the rock crock, whether it's the stainless 12-inch or 10-inch skillet, whether it's the grill pan, whether it's the indoor-outdoor grill, you want to use a power tool and have a fun, exciting recipe that will entice her friends and have her talk about the recipe or share the recipe so that her friends get excited about what you're fixing. Because that translates into people coming because they're, oh, I want to try that. Oh, that sounds really good. I'm actually doing something new at my show Tuesday. It's a taco bar. Where we're doing all the toppings for the taco bar and then making the salsa. So we'll be using the skillet for the hamburger meat and then all the other tools to go with it. Something easy and doesn't heat up the kitchen too much in the summer. So keep it fun, keep it exciting. Wine, cheese, and chocolate is always good. Carol's got her host menu page that you can choose from. She does a lot of research. She puts a lot of thought into that. So you can use that. Use Carol's host. I didn't put that on here, but use Carol's host coaching script. It's amazing. If somebody requests a catalog, or if the host says, hey, I've got a friend in New York, can you mail her catalog? Absolutely. Because maybe she doesn't get online. Maybe she is a catalog person. If she wants me to mail a catalog to somebody that doesn't live near, that can't come to the show, definitely mail them a catalog. You could also send them the online catalog link where they can browse the catalog online. When you wrap up your show, after everybody's left and you've got your total, you can use the show tally form that tells them, you're at $425. You have this much free. At $500, you have this. $600, you have this. If you go over with them what they're at and give them words to say to follow up on the people that canceled last minute, said they couldn't come but want to order, give them the words to say. Like, call your friend Susie and, say, we missed you. I wish you could have been here, but I know you wanted to order that food chopper. Here's the shopping link. Or it's not too late if you want to order something. I just want to let you know to give you the link. So give them words to say instead of just saying, call all the people that didn't make it. If you give them the words to say, then they will be more likely to do it. And then only give them 2 or 3 days after the show to close. Don't give them a week. They're going to be able to get a hold of it unless it's tied to a payday that's 4 days away. I typically say, let's talk in 2 or 3 days. Number one, your guests get their orders faster, so they're going to be happier, and they're going to be more likely to book because they know they're not waiting 6 weeks to get their products. Any questions on any of the host coaching?
Not at the moment.
Why do you think it's important to touch base with your host weekly?
Well, the show stays in the forefront of their mind, and they know that you care and that you want them to have a good show.
Mm-hmm.
And you also keep them pumped up and excited.
That's right. Keeping them pumped up and excited. And you know what? It could be a 30-second phone call. It could be a text. Hey, I'm so excited. Hey, how many invites did you get mailed out this week? Or how many invites did you pass out this week? Just a quick check-in. You can, we'll get to that in a minute. So, but just keep the excitement going. If they say, well, I've sent out 10, great, that's a great start. Let's think of some more names you can send out to. So you want to get her thinking about who else she can invite and mixing her group. So these are some things you can ask. Did you get your host packet in the mail? Do I have your information correct on your red stamp or anything that you send her that has her information? Did I get it correct? Ask for addresses so that you can mail the mini catalogs for your host. How many invitations were you able to hand out? Even when I mail the invitations, I still give her postcards so that she can give some to people when she's out and about. People that she forgot about, that she didn't think of, that she may not have their address. Has anybody said no yet? Did you ask them for an outside order? Did you see that when you have 25 confirmed guests, I'll bring the recipe ingredients? That's something you can or can't, that's an option for you. Can you post on your party a couple times a week? Can you, post your favorite product? Can you let them know what we're going to be fixing? How are the outside orders coming along? What are you so excited to get for free? And then tell her why she's going to love it. And then tell her how to get it too. This is what you're going to need in your sales. That's what you want her to do, her wish list. Who's coming that could use some extra cash? That way you can kind of get an idea of who might be a good consultant. And then, of course, always ask your host, have you ever thought about doing what I do? Any questions on any of these?
Will you post these?
Yes. I'll see if I had a hard time figuring out how to do the slides, but I'll see if I can figure it out 2 weeks ago, which is why I didn't do it last week. I'll see if I'll try and put these, I'll figure it out. Technology.
I can help.
Okay. Thank you, Cheryl.
I was going to say, it might be print them as a PDF or something.
Do what?
You might be able to print them as a PDF and then post them as a file.
Well, it's in a PowerPoint. It's just, how do I get this? Anyway, that we can figure that out later. Let's make, I want to make good use of your time. So we talked a little bit earlier about typing up scripts. Shelly gave us a script. Anything that you want to send your host, just checking in to see how your invites are going. Save that word verbiage, whether it's on your phone, whether it's on your computer, so that all you have to do is copy and paste and change the name. So you're not having to type the whole thing every single time. This is, this is my husband calling again. He knows I'm leading a training, so I'm going to step away. Shelly, can you take over for just a sec? Hello.
Shelley?
Sure, I can take over, except that I can't advance her screen.
Why not, Shelley?
Roll with it.
Just go like this.
Shelley, can I?
So there's more down there.
Weapon.
So I can just kind of add in at this point a little bit about some thoughts of mine towards host coaching. So you've seen a lot of good host coaching tips. And one of my, what I think is most important about host coaching is for you to sit down after this training and spend some time figuring out what your system, host coaching system, is going to be. Which of these tips are you going to put into place, and write it all out. Do it however you keep notes. And, if you write it all out on a piece of paper, or if I use Evernote. So my host coaching system is all saved in Evernote, which includes all the documents and things that I have to print out to put in a host packet, or, the scripts that I use when I'm coaching my host. My whole system is in one Evernote in a single place, so that I can find everything easily. And then I have a checklist that I use to go through to know that I hit, to check off when I do different things for the different hosts, because there is no possible way. I have tried, if anybody has tried to wing host coaching, it's me. I have tried so hard to wing it for 8 years, and I have found that it just doesn't work. I can't remember if I sent a host a thank you note or not, or if her packet is in the mail or it didn't ever get in the mail. I miss stuff all over the place, because once you have 4 or 5 shows coming up, there's just no way to keep it straight unless you write it down. So I have to have a checklist for myself that I work through systematically for each host. And on that checklist, I like to write the dates that I do each thing, so I can also, keep myself responsible on that score.
And we're going to get to tracking here in a minute. So that was a great segue.
Great.
I have a question.
Yes.
Yes.
Shelly, is the one that you used the one we got like way back when?
The one that I use, I started with the one that is in PC University. It's in the host coaching section on PC University. It's under the resources over on the right side. It has all those documents and everything that you can, PDFs and things you can print out. And there's one that's the host coaching tracking sheet. So I used that, and then I just, I started with that, and then I changed it for my own host coaching system. Because I do certain things, that aren't in there. Like I mail out invites for my host, snail mail invites for my host. That's something that I have found really increases my attendance for my shows. So, I had to add a spot for that, things like that.
Okay.
Good deal. Any other questions? Okay. Well, I'm going to share with you something that Jennifer calls it her secret weapon, and videos. And this is something that I did. I'm still not consistent with sending it to my host, but those that I have sent it to, it has made a difference. And I will post my videos on our event so that you can see them. And mine are roughly 8 or 9 minutes. And that kind of tells them, it's kind of if you play phone tag or text message bingo and you never reach your host, if she watches the video, it's what you would have told her in your main host coaching call. So she will at least have hopefully watched the video, and you can see it when you send me a Facebook message or whether they watched it or not. So, and then there's another one a couple days before the show that gives them the last minute tips. Here's what I need in my kitchen. Don't forget to follow up this, blah, blah, blah. It's got all the reminder type things. So there's 2 different videos. And the shows that I remember to do that, because it's something new for me, have done better than those that I didn't. So I tend to believe that Jennifer says that is a secret weapon, and I think it is. So let's move on to tracking. And Shelly mentioned she has her tracking system, and I'm going to share with you next Jennifer's, then I'm going to pull up my page, which is kind of what Cheryl just showed, but it's modified a little bit. So when she sets up the show, she puts an E1 on their spot on the calendar, so that you've got that. If she sends them a Facebook refresh, she does FBR, and when they accept, she crosses it out. You mail their packet, put an X. When they get it, they circle it. Sends them a text, put a T. When they text back, she circles it. When you send them a Facebook message, same thing. When they respond, that's her system. She puts down what it is, and when it's taken care of, it's circled. Send the video, write that down, circle it. When they pick a recipe, write it down. When you send the recipe ingredients to them, if you're not sending them a recipe page. So you kind of see she has a system that works for her. What I use is this checklist, and I don't know how to make it bigger. It's basically the, this is the host. Well, no, hang on. How come it's over here? How do I get this? I'm so bad.
At the
There we
bar.
go. Okay. So we have the host name, who she booked from, so I know who gets the future party pick, the show date, what kind of show it is, the first contact. I'm confirming if I set it up way out, I confirm that that date's still good, and then get the show set up. And then the best way to contact. So that's 5 weeks out. 4 weeks out, I mail their host packet, and I email them all the specials and flyers. And then I have a set of postcards that I use each week. So there's a recipe, $1,000 recipe postcard that I send the first week, 4 weeks out. And then 3 weeks out, make sure they got the host packet, send them the save the date text or reminder, then do your big phone call. And then that's when you send the video. 2 weeks out, create the Facebook event, mail the invites for them, check in. How's it going? You think of any other names, and then the RSVP postcard. A week out, send them a reminder text to send out, a postcard and the video that's the reminder, and then a couple days out, finalize everything. So this is my checklist that I use. I'll post this on our page too, so that I can look and see. And I don't put just a check, I'll put the date. So whenever sent this, I put, 7/8. Or when I did this, I put 7/10. So I know the date that I did it. If I don't talk to them and leave a message, like on the show planning call, I'll put an M next to it that I left a message so that I didn't talk. So that is what I use to track my host coaching. Okay. Any questions on any of that? There is another host coaching contact page that I have that breaks it down too. So I will post that one as well. So host coaching is a partnership, and you want your host to get as much free, half price, and discounted products. And when she does, then you get a good paycheck. So it'd be better to get that $220 paycheck than that $60 paycheck, right?
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay. So now we're going to focus on skill. So we talked about belief the first week. Last week we talked about passion for our business, passion for the host coaching opportunity, passion for the business. This week we're going to talk about skill. This is really the easiest pillar in our business because it's one you can fix anytime. The way you do that is using your tools, practicing recipes. If you're not comfortable with something, use it over and over again until you get used to it. Develop personal stories. Oh my gosh, when I made this, my family fell over. Or like whenever I made the pina colada quicksicles with the maraschinos, thought that they were at a fancy restaurant. It looked like it was something from a fancy restaurant. Study the catalog. They pay people a lot of money to write. They have the stories, all the different stories throughout. But then the verbiage that they do to describe the products, read it, get to know it. It may give you ideas about something that you never thought about. Our catalog is a great resource. Always have a catalog with you. Watch and listen to Home Office and our team trainings. Come to team meetings. Go to conference, which I think everybody on here is going, except
I'm not.
he has to work. So listen to the coffee talks on Saturday morning, or listen to the recordings that they have posted. Like Shelley said last week, was at the meeting, readers are leaders. Read books about our business, whether it's things like Take the Stairs or Failing Forward or Procrastinate on Purpose. Anything by John Gordon or Rory Vaden are amazing and easy reads. Watch YouTube trainings. That's some of the things that we've been posting. And do a lot of shows. Every show you do, you get better. Skills are easily taught and easily caught. You can do it. So any of those that you're like, oh, I just don't know, or is there anything else you could think of that would help you improve your skill?
For me, it's just practicing with the tools and things. Since I don't cook for a family, my cooking opportunities are limited, so I've got to make sure I use what I cook.
Mm-hmm.
So that's for me is probably my biggest thing. So that way I'm more comfortable with my demos that I post on my personal Facebook page.
Good.
For the business and what I post on shows.
Good. Well, that may then when people ask questions, because you've used it. Good. Anything else?
I need to study the catalog more.
Mm-hmm.
I was kind of embarrassed at that cooking show I had because a lady brought in some scissors.
Mm-hmm.
They were, I don't know what they were called, and she brought them in and said, how do I get these sharpened? And they didn't have Pampered Chef anywhere on them.
Mm-hmm.
And so I thought that maybe they weren't even Pampered Chef.
Mm-hmm.
But then we looked through the catalog, and there was something that was similar to in there, So she was fine and not upset or anything. But I pointed out the sharpener and all. But I was kind of embarrassed because I didn't even know that product was in there.
But we have 500 products. There's no way you can know all 500, especially as a new consultant. That people can't expect you to know all 500. So when you don't know, then that's when you say, like, you look through the catalog, you did what you should have done, and you found what it was. And if you can't find the information right then you say, you know what, let me look into this and I'll get back to you. And they'll appreciate that as long as you do get back to them. So yeah, product knowledge and looking through the catalog. And it may give you ideas too. So, and don't feel like you have to memorize numbers or anything like that. There are too many numbers to memorize. You may get to learn some of them because people order them over and over and over again, and then you learn them because they do that. But you do not have to memorize numbers. That's what the show outline is for. So you can put the product number and the page number so that if somebody asks, it's on there. Any other things? Okay, well, let's talk about our homework. And then this week you're going to list, Lisa Noto's awesome. Oh, and Michael Yoakley's awesome too. Yes.
So Angela,
Yes.
could I add one thing
Yes.
about host coaching
Yes.
before we move on?
Yes.
I just wanted to share something with you guys. I just really quickly typed this into a document because I think that this is the most important thing about host coaching. So how do you think your time is better spent? Focusing on getting more shows booked on your calendar, or focusing on getting more guests at the shows you already have booked on your calendar? Which one of those is a better income earning opportunity for you?
More guests, because then you have more opportunities to book shows from those people.
Right. Increasing your guest attendance is going to make you a lot more money than getting on the phone and trying to book more shows. Do you mind if I share my screen and just show that really quick, Angela?
Here, go ahead.
Super fast. Nope.
Oh, I have to stop share. Hang on.
Okay, yeah, I was like, I can't figure out how. Okay, share screen. Okay. Oh gosh, it's in a document somewhere. This one. This is just something that I did not really understand for a long, long time in my business, and I think it's really powerful. So here I have 3 show examples for you, or three business examples for you, really. So in this first one, you're holding 4 shows. You're having 8 guests at your show, okay? You're getting 1 booking out of those 8 guests that come to your party. Your average order is $65. And so your show average is then $520. So you're selling, doing 4 shows a month with 8 guests at your show, you're selling about $2,080 in sales a month. Okay, and you're getting 4 new bookings on your calendar at your shows, from your shows. Okay, let's focus on getting 1 more show booked on your calendar. So you work really hard, you call a whole bunch of people, and you get another show that for the next month. So you hold 5 shows with 8 guests. So everything else remains the same. 8 guests, 1 booking, $65 average order, $520 average show. So your sales go from $2,080 per month to $2,600 per month. Okay, and you got 5 bookings. So this is not bad. This is a good use of your time. Obviously, booking more shows gets you more money. But look at this. If you stayed at 4 shows, so you're leaving your house the same number of times a month. That's 1 time a week, you guys. But you focus on host coaching to build attendance. So instead of 8 guests at your show, you had 12 guests at your show. From that show, you're much more likely to get 2 bookings. Your average order and show average, your average order stays the same, but look how much your show average goes up. Now you have a $780 show average. So you're selling, doing the same number of shows, 4 shows, 1 a week, you're selling $3,120 in a month. And now you have 8 new shows booked on your calendar. So y'all see the difference?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So if you're gonna sit and determine where your best efforts lie, now I'm not saying don't book more shows, because I could also do the example. I could play it out and say you booked 1 more show, so you did 5 shows, and you coached to get 12 guests at your parties, because obviously that's even better. But if you're gonna try to figure out where should I spend my time to maximize my business right now, this month, just looking at what your calendar looks like, you're better off increasing your guest attendance than doing anything else in your business.
That's a great analogy. Thank you.
That's really good.
Okay.
Good
That's all.
No, I love that. Thank you.
I got that from Carol Radu. She's a very smart lady.
Yes, she is. Yes, she is. So, and I'm going to share the homework, and then my husband is broke down on the side of the road, so I'm
Oh
going to
dear.
finish this up, and then
Oh no! Oh no!
Yeah. that's why he called back. So,
I
anyway,
bet.
so then I'm going to finish this up so I can go get him. Okay, so your homework. Let me move this over here. This week is you're going to listen to Lisa Noto and Michael Yoakley, host coaching and peer sharing, and then share 5 things that you learned from it. And then you'll have the same things I've been asking. How many shows do you commit to booking? How many host coaching calls are you going to commit to making this week? Set up. Okay, here he is. Shelly, this is Alan. Sorry.
Okay. So you're going to set up a follow-up call with your recruiter or your director to discuss discuss hostess coaching, your plan to hostess coach. And you're going to track how many leads did you get, how many bookings did you get, what were your sales this week, what did you have trouble with it, and what's one brag you have this week. So that obviously stays the same every time we do these, but we're just wanting to to y'all set a pattern to following up with your recruiter and tracking your business successes and challenges each week.
Yep. And then I love the brags too. So
Yeah, that's fun.
yes, those are fun too. So thank y'all for being on here and for attending, and forgive my having to step away, but he just told me where I need to go pick him up. So
So will this be posted by tomorrow for us?
yes, I'll post it. Yes. Last week, I just, between my mother-in-law buying a house and the holiday, my week, I was never home. So, because anyway, that's another story, but I apologize. I'm back and I'm ready to be organized again this week. So thank y'all. Thank you. And I hope you learned something new tonight. I'll post some of the things I'll post this, and then I'll post the recording probably tomorrow. And then I'll post the other flyers that I showed too about the host coaching, my checklist and the fridge sheet. And you don't have to do the same thing. Make your own that makes sense the way you host coach. And then let's work on increasing our attendance at our virtuals and our cooking shows so that we can not have to work harder. We work smarter. Okay.
Sounds good.
Yay.
Awesome.
Thank
Y'all
you.
have
Thank
a
you, Angela.
fantastic week.
Thanks.
All right.
Okay.
Get your honey.
Bye.
Bye.